Dangin Nira, Amzin uframevna, ebsgo sfelfa ur eb peftlalfa. Lesson 10. Adverbs and Conjunctions. As learned before, adjectives describe nouns. But nouns are not the only things that we may want to describe. Sometimes we may want to describe verbs or other adjectives. To do this, we need to use adverbs. Most adverbs are made by taking an adjective, removing the "-in" ending, and replacing it with org. For example, I am slow would be mos ragahin, but I'm running slowly would be kelos ragahorg. Adverbs made this way always follow the verb described. As another example, he's throwing happily would be mapatok skasorg. When you want to describe an adjective, however, the adverb comes first. For example, to say, you are a happily healthy man, you'd say, mom skasorg tharsin risa. You'll also be happy to know that adverbs do not change for case or tense or anything else. They always end in org. So, for example, if we define weird as Wayomgin, then the sadly sick woman slowly ate the weirdly big apple would be nen mororg kuselsin suma ekritek ragahorg nen Wayomgorg tupinu tsetge. Notice that nen comes before the adverb in definite nouns. Now, these are not the only adverbs. There are a few others which can not only describe verbs and adjectives, but also other adverbs. The most common of these are kend, very or much, rand, not very or not much, Sfen, now, Dowd, just as in just now, bent, also or to, and Supam, quite or rather. So, for example, the very big warrior just gave a rather small rock to the not very smart police officer would be nen kend tupin haken takra Dowd beetek nen rand asumiglu selfaskudokrer supam vesinu gongole. Note that these adverbs will always come before a verb or any other word it modifies. As another example, the ghost very much likes to watch not very fast fish would be nen woswa kend kizrok legroi rand maminu zuske. Another integral part of speech is the conjunction. Conjunctions are words used to connect words, phrases, and whole sentences. The simplest of these is ur, which means and. For example, bava ur pukna means a cat and a dog. There is also him, which means or. For example, risa him suma means a man or a woman. Other conjunctions are used to connect two clauses, such as Arteg, because, Akaz, therefore, Hlinidu, however, Zof, but, and Sket, whether. For example, Kizrosme Arteg muhum manwin means I like you because you are tall. Or Valos tsetke Hlinidu Sfen ged ekros tsetke, which means I love apples, however now I'm not eating an apple. Notice how ged is closer to the verb than any preceding adverb. Before I give another example, I'd like to quickly introduce another modal, Winoi, which means can or to be able to. Unlike kizroi and wegoi and the rest, this modal can only take infinitives. For example, nen hebrisa mokt harsin, Akaz mwinok ekroi zuske ur bent laske. This means the boy is healthy, therefore he can eat fish and also cookies. Notice that the adverb bent is present without a verb to describe. This is because it is describing a verb that is already mentioned. You don't need to say ekroi twice. It is implied. One final example. beosmerg gongole, sket hastitomke, himget hastitomke. This means, I'm giving to you a rock, whether or not you want it. Notice how with sket, you do have to say the verb twice if it is repeated, because it is always used with him. One verb follows sket, and the other verb follows him. One final thing. Let's go over some verbs which take different cases than they do in English. Remember wokendoi, to knock on. Whereas in English it requires a preposition, in Dangin Nira it simply takes an accusative noun. Here are some more examples. Habroi, to forgive. The person forgiven is in the dative, and the thing forgiven is in the accusative. For example, the useful phrase habromumserg, which means excuse me. Rosloi, to beg, which we've already seen, works the same way. The thing being begged for is in the accusative, and the person being begged for something is in the dative. For example, Nensuma roslok nenriserg sirie. The woman is begging the man for a flower. There's also domoi, to wait for, which simply takes an object, as in domomse, you're waiting for me. Same for hiditoi, to care about. For example, nen hebrisa hiditok nen hepsume. The boy cares about the girl. That's more than enough for one lesson. Review this new vocabulary, then proceed to the next video.